And we are live in three, two, one. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Omatic, and welcome to a big guilty cigar review. I am joined with my first guest, Mr. Tony, the soy sauce assassin, one of my good friends, you know, and we just decided to record something for my first introduction video. So as you guys know, I did have a podcast before going by Sticks and Fire Cigars. So now we're just doing something a little different, just to switch it up a little bit. So I am here just to give you guys a little entertainment, calling it the Big Guilty Cigar Review. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Tony introduce himself, also known as the Lord, because he is the leader of the Shadow Smoke Legion. And Tony, without further ado, do your thing, brother.
Yeah, hey guys, Tony the Soy Sauce Assassin. We're here with Innocent, of course, and his show. Yeah, we were just chatting, and then obviously we decided to he should start something like this so that we can talk about crazy stuff, right? So here and there, and so yeah, for those people who doesn't know me, I'm the leader of the Shadow Smoke Legion, and you probably have already seen me on the other shows. So today, honored to be the first guest, and we talk about whatever we're talking about today.
So, since you're here, I think a great question would be how did how did the Shadow Smoke Legion come about? You
I don't
know,
know how many times I talk about the story, but here it is, right? So a long time ago, from a country of time far, far, far away, there was this thing called TNT cigar, right? And when TNT cigar kind of like fall apart, Tim Swanson went on and created Cigars Daily. And Cigars Daily had this whole group thing, and I was part of that. And eventually that became, they want to do a chapter kind of thing. And I became the leader for the Eastern chapter, that like Eastern part of the chapter. And we've been doing this like video chat thing, hangout kind of thing for a while. And as Cigars Daily group has grown more and more and more, you get crazy other people comes in, and I guess I was being attacked in that group. So I got to a point where I go, you know what? If these people don't like me, I can go off and do something for people that I like and people who likes me. Should become a actual family, a family of cigar lovers and various hobbies. And then we're going to create this thing that, we similar to this. And then one day I go, if we're going to create something like this, let's make a name. Have everybody came up with a name, and Shadow Smoke Legion was the name that we ended up deciding with. So there you go. Shadow Smoke Legion was born, and I became the leader for it.
so I think one thing that happens a lot of times is, especially like in these Facebook groups, everybody's not gonna like everybody, and also too, a lot of jealousy can happen from that also. So with that jealousy, people, you can either deal with that jealousy or just leave and start your own thing. Because at the end of the day, you're not there for, like, nobody's there for drama. And being in the cigar community, and especially like being in the industry, you find out that there's a lot more drama than that meets the eye. A lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes in the cigar industry that you don't really think that you'd be like, wow, that person like that person, or that person, doesn't get along with this person. So, being in there, you kind of learn a lot, and just going from, you making that decision just to start your own thing. Like when you decided to do it, did you speak to Tim beforehand, or it was just like, I'm out?
Yeah. First of all, I want to talk about when you say nobody's there for drama. I had to disagree with that because there is, and what I learned from having the group Shadow Smoke Legion is that there are people that are there for drama. In fact, there's no drama, they disappear. All right. If there's drama, they come out and then they're waiting for their time to attack and stir up shit. It does happen. So when that happened, Tim already know that I have a channel and something like that created for Shadow Smoke Legion at that time. And I was doing my own, cigar reviews and chat and stuff like that. And when the attack happened, kind of got out of hand, I talked to Tim a few times. And Tim's like, I'm all good. If you had to do what you want to do, it was still good. Apologize for that kind of thing happened. And, I got my blessing and all that stuff. So he knew that it was going to happen. And he was actually surprised how Shadow Smoke Legion worked, because how Shadow Smoke Legion works is totally opposite from everybody else, right? Everyone wants their group to have as many people as possible, as big as possible, as, diverse as possible. But Shadow Smoke Legion is the opposite. And he was like, he had an interview video a few times with me, and he was amazed how that happened, how that works out. So,
I think, just from being in the Legion for almost a year now, and seeing people come, seeing people go, and the one thing that I learned about the Legion is, you know, a lot of people here don't take things to heart. Like it's not like there's not. I'm not saying that there's not drama, but a lot of people, like, people know who you can joke with and who you can't joke with. And over time you get to learn that just throughout the Discord conversations. I think ever since we switched over to Discord, things have become much, I would say, cleaner, just as far as, you know the normal people are always in the chat. Then sometimes you have been in a while, they'll come back into the chat. And and then you have people who are just not there because they're not really people who are on social media like that.
well, one of those things that we talk about is because you joined the Legion after the second Exodus. We talk about first Exodus and second Exodus. There is various times where we kick people out because we feel like they're not fitting and they're not active. They're not there for the right reason. They're just waiting for something to happen, right? And you kind of join us at the second Exodus, where the last batch of people who stirred up drama has decided that enough is enough and they want to leave, because I was not gonna take any more of those. I mean, if you want to be a part of a community, part of a group, the group's got to make a decision that you may like, you may might not like, and for them to say, "I'm out of here because you made that decision." Those are the kind of people that I would think that is waiting to stir something, right? For example, you see Twitter. There's a lot of people that has a lot of crap going on with Twitter when Twitter was sold to Elon Musk, and those people left, right? They complain, and left. They're not willing to see where it goes. They didn't even stay to see where it goes, right? And that's kind of the people that we ended up let go, because they're not there for the right reason. They're not there for the people. If you're there for the people, it doesn't matter what rule it is. If if I'm joining a group that I really, really like, even if they make the rule says you have to do 20 jumping jacks per day, that's part of the requirement to be in the Legion, then I'll probably do it. You know what I'm saying? And not that the last decision that we made that created the Exodus was everybody must have a Discord account. And we're not the only one that has it. I'm pretty sure other smoking group has that kind of stuff. I think, what's it, like smoke barrel or something, that they have that kind of stuff. There's some group that's really, really hard to join and really, really hard to rank up and stuff like that. They have those kind of rules. And a lot of those people are probably part of those group too. I mean, you don't have to have only join one group, right? You can have in multiple groups. And you can tell from that point that they were not in the group for the right reason, and they were bearing with it, were waiting for something to happen so that either it benefits them or so that they can be entertained. And that's where it changed, right? So from that point on in the Discord, dynamic change, right? People who are regulars are there regularly. And people who have other parts of their lives, obviously you can't talk about cigar every single day. Nobody does that, right? They have other things to do, but when they have time, they join in, and it's like a family member that hasn't seen their cousin or whatever for a while shows up. They go in and it's all around welcome, and that's the environment I want Shadow Smoke Legion to be, and that's the environment that we have right now.
I think the one thing I noticed just being in a Legion is just it's a family, and and one thing about family is that you're not always gonna agree on it. You're not always gonna agree with everything, but at the end of the day, family always comes back together. So, and also you meet so many different people. Like it's people that I talk to every day on Discord that I've never met in person yet. But but you know them like the back of your hand because you become friends, and it's to the point where it's like, nah, like that's my guy. It's to the point where it's like, nah, like I'll like he's good people, I can vouch for him. He's a great guy. And I think with Legion you learn that over time, but at the same time you're still bonding over a cigar. You're still bonding over a cigar, but you sit there and you're able to talk about life, talk about the current topics, talk about what's going on, or just talk about your past or where you came from, so people get a better idea of who you are.
Yeah, and it's really like a family, because a true family or true friends give each other shit, a lot of shit, and firsthand,
uh, trust me, yeah.
right?
Like if you guys don't know, I'm always in probation for no reason, even though 85% of the time I'm innocent. I do nothing wrong. I was minding my business, and somehow, some way, I'm in probation. You know, and it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, oh, I'm in trouble again. All right, I'll do the time, even though I don't deserve the time. It's one of those things where it was a certain prank that you know Tony was testing out a system, and one of our members, he actually went and said, "Oh, for my prize, I want to put innocent in probation." And so he won, and so for his prize, he put me in probation again. So like I am a constant probation person. I am always on probation. I'm like, and it happens, and but it's a joke, and I don't take it personal. Sometimes like even if I'm having a bad day, I it's you can always you know you can always find a joke and find something that would make you laugh throughout the day, even though it's like, fuck, like there's so much drama going on, so much bullshit going on. All right, well, something funny happened, you know, or just being around good people would get that negative energy out and put you in good spirits because you were sitting there laughing the whole time. So there's something about community, and I think one problem that we realize now is a lot more people are a lot more isolated than I thought. But and one thing that I learned on Discord is a lot of people, especially the younger crowd, like their friends are on Discord. That's their friends. Like they don't hang with nobody from the city, nobody from the high school. Like their friends are people that are halfway across the world. They never met, but they know they can count on and talk to them about anything without being judged. And it's I to me it's kind of a pro and a con because I feel like it kind of messed up your social skills a little bit when you're not dealing with human interaction.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite, because like, okay, you guys know Michael from Little Guy Cigar Shop. You guys know Hashimoto from Hashimoto Sport. Those two people are the most introvert person you'll ever know in the beginning. In the
Well,
beginning.
Mike, but Hashi, there's no way. I think Hashi's
Okay, if you look back, Shadow Smoke's Legion video back 2 years ago, Hashimoto used to be in the chat, and there's no way he will ever go on the camera. No way, Jose. No way.
yeah, that's different.
And when he finally got on the camera, you can tell that he's uncomfortable. And he actually himself said before that doing this communication kind of thing has got him to be more personable, more able to talk to people, more not be afraid. You know, anybody who does public speaking will tell you that only way to get better is by doing it.
Exactly. And and that's with anything in life. It's like, they have that saying, you're not a you don't they say master anything until you put 10,000 hours in. Until you put your 10,000 hours in, you're not a master. And even then, you're still not a master. Basically, you have your black belt, but there's levels to black belt. You could be a black belt, but there's somebody that's better than you that has a black belt also.
It's lifetime of learning, right? There's no way anybody can say I've learned everything in this world and I no longer need any more knowledge. Everything is about learning, learning, learning. There's always somebody that's better than you, and that's always true. There's always someone that's always better than you.
I think the one thing that it's very interesting, and one thing that when we have our conversations and we get into just Asian philosophy,
Okay.
and when you discuss Asian philosophy and just the stories, like the stories of the monk of that monkey. I know it sounds super messed up, but person that is like the monkey that's able to do who's he's like a god.
Mm-hmm.
And just hearing that story and hearing the stories of the three kingdoms, so you're learning all of these different old, very Asian, you know culture, of just the stories, and you hear about just the discipline. You hear about the discipline, you hear about faults, and you hear about and it's always a lesson.
Yeah, I mean those stories were created for lesson. The one that we're talking about for the monkey one is called Journey to the West, and that story basically the entire thing is about life. You're not gonna see it as that until you really read into it, because if you look at what's on the surface, it's like a hero story. You know, the monkey takes a monk to collect the sutra. Defeat the demons. That was the basic story, and every little kid in Asia has probably heard that story at least one time, and will watch the cartoon or read the book. And they, as a kid, you read the surface of it. You know the story. Okay, be good. Be the person that's righteous. It's great to have superpower. And as you get older, you understand the subject a little bit more, life. And as a teenager, you see a little bit different. You see the struggle. You see the issue, the personal issue, the drama, and the problem dealing with people. Right. This is what we learn as a human being. Right. As we get older, we learn responsibility. We learn consequences. That kind of stuff you start to see. As you get to your 30s or 40s, you see it even deeper. That every part of it has to do with life, and really the fight, the magic power and all that stuff is irrelevant. It just tells you no matter how powerful you are, you have issue, right? Everybody at home has a closet they can't open, right? And that's what that whole story is about. How they defeat the issue that they had to hide in the closet. Oh, not necessarily the closet we're talking about, get out of the closet. Not like that. But everything else, right? Life, trouble, finance, personal issues, love, all that stuff was actually in that story, but you can only understand it as you get older and go back to study that story. So that story is one of the top written story because you don't fully understand it until you read it as an adult.
Mm. Just to piggyback off that, I think every culture has their stories.
Yeah.
Like growing up, like they say, a hard, like my stepdad used to always say to me, a hard head makes a soft behind. So, you know, if you're not listening, when it's time when it's time for you to pay up, don't cry about it. If you're gonna sit there and create trouble, don't cry about the consequences. you know, it's saying like, somebody keeps telling you the stove is hot, but you don't want to listen and you burn your hand because the stove is hot. Don't cry about it. They told you that it was gonna happen and it happened, and now you want to whine about
And Asian people use karma as how to explain that topic, right? Whatever you do, everything has a price.
it. Yeah.
Nothing's free in this world. Actually, the most expensive thing in this world is free. All right. If something was to you is free, that's the most expensive thing that you ever got. Why? Because now you owe someone a favor or whatever that the reason that was given to you. One day that's gonna come back to you, right? For example, everybody use Google. Google's free. You give up all your information about your life to get that for free.
It's and that's so true because you agree to give them access to what you're looking up. That's why when you say certain things, next thing you know, you have ads for it.
Right?
So you scroll through Instagram, you're like, I was just talking about a car. So why is my algorithm just showing me cars now?
And you don't think that that's important until you think about other people saying. I know a lot of people have seen this. Okay, when somebody's dying, and they say, "What do you have? What's your last word?" And usually, the last word somebody will joke about will be delete my search, delete my search bar history,
Read my search history. Yeah,
right? And that's it. That's what it is. Your private life that you don't want anybody to know. Guess what? Somebody knows,
exactly. Google knows. Google knows exactly what you're doing. If you have Apple, Safari knows exactly what you're doing.
right? And they keep that forever.
Exactly. So even if you search it in incognito and private, doesn't matter. They still
Still
know.
knows you,
Knows you. So so just jumping from that, you know, like I kind of want to like my the way my mind works is I jump around, and so my ADHD has me going like all over the place. So one thing that I wanted to get into now was we spoke about the Legion. Legion is about cigars. What are your favorite cigars, and what what cigars did you start off smoking, and what cigars did you find that you love now?
that's a long question. That's a long question. All right, let's address one thing at a time. Okay. My favorite cigars that I smoke the most. Actually, wouldn't be a favorite cigar. It's technically what I smoke the most because it's really hard to say favorite because favorite means I don't have enough of, right? But what I smoke the most is Davidoff Signature 2000. I smoke that a lot, and recently I've been smoking the Sangre Nueva in Double Perfectos a lot. And in fact, last week I smoked way too much of the EPC Allegiance.
Yeah,
Way too much of those.
it that's a really good I enjoy that cigar, and like it is a partnership between EP Carrillo and Oliva, but when you smoke it, it tastes like a cleaner Oliva cigar. I would say that.
Like a lot of time, I like a cigar and I find something lacking. For example, I find, and everybody knows me knows this, I find that Casa Cuevas Core Line Connecticut is a cigar that's lacking in every way okay, to me. And then they released the Reserva Natural, which fixed all the problem that I felt it was lacking. And that became one of my all-time cigar. And something like this, Allegiant, is the same thing. I like Oliva V, right? So, but then I sometimes I do feel like that's lacking. I feel like there's some other cigar that's better. So I smoke a lot of other cigar, but that doesn't stop me from smoking Oliva V. Allegiance is basically Oliva V on steroid, which fixed the issue. And thus I smoked that a lot more because now they fixed the issue,
So,
right?
so my question to you when it comes to the allegiance. So, of course, for us, like we have, like we get a discounted price, but would you pay? Because in a normal store, an allegiance will cost you maybe between $15 and $16.
Mhm.
Would you pay that every day?
Would I pay that every day? Well, let's first get that straight that everybody's finances are different. So 13, 14, $15, $20 cigar is not expensive to me. All right. Because I buy a lot of Davidoff and they're about that range to start with. So with that in mind, I also wanted to be very honest on this. Okay. Everybody who buys cigars should know that we always look for the cheapest price where we can buy them because it's a luxury. Okay. No matter how rich you are, you're gonna find the best price you gotta find, right? If you can. Now, does that mean I won't buy the cigar? I'll buy the cigar all the time. However, when I go to a lounge, when I go to a cigar shop, I don't buy what I already have. Right? Because I already buy them in boxes at the time at the greatest price that I can find at the point, as to a certain point, right? Because like, you know, if my friends are selling it, it's a little bit more expensive than somewhere else. I don't mind to pay that few more bucks. That's fine. So when I go to a lounge, when you say, would I pay that price for it? I probably wouldn't because I already have at home. I want to go out and try things that I haven't tried and I'll pay the full price for that one. So for example, if I had never tried Allegiance and I go to a shop and I'm about to try it and they charge me $20 a stick, I will pay that $20. Right? Because it's like price of entry, right? I smoke it so I can know what I want. It's $20 to find out whether I like it and to spend $200 on a box. That's saving me money because if I smoked $20 and I didn't like it, I didn't waste that $200, right? And everybody who knows me knows that I tend to have that problem to buy a box at a time. So, you know, if it's for my friend, I don't mind to buy the entire box at a discounted price. But if I have to go to a lounge, I will only buy one and now search for a better price, right? Or I'll buy two and I search for a better price. It really depends what I'm doing. And there are times where, for example, Davidoff, they never have discount, right? And I buy a box like $300, $400, $500. And if I like the cigar, I will go to the store, pay full price to replenish cigar that I smoked. So, for example, the Davidoff limited edition Churchill, which is in the Perfecto, I like that cigar a lot, and I smoked some, and there's not a lot of them. When I go to the shop, I pay full price to get that one cigar. So cigar is, to me, is not really what you pay a full price for it. Is what I pay the full price to replenish it, right? And I will pay the full price to replenish it if there's no other way around it. And so if you say Allegiance, if all of a sudden they say every shop starting from now pays this price, $14 cigar, I'll be like, fine, that's fine. It's fine with me. Yeah. But if you ask me, would I ever pay full price for Oliva V? Never. I don't think I ever want to pay full price for Oliva V because I gotta feel horrible when I buy at full price and I buy a box at a time, go home, went online, guess what? Oliva V just dropped 60%.
So to me, I'm a big person of the blender. You know, a lot of people don't care about the blender, but for me, I do. You know, like so for instance, like Carrillo makes that cigar. So I like I pretty much I like a lot of stuff that he does. So just because I like him, I will go out and try that cigar. So like, are you a big follower of the blenders of cigars, or are you just like whatever? Because because blenders do bounce around. You know, blenders bounce around, but you know, like blenders, they won't go too far off their normal what they know.
Okay, so I don't care for the blender, and I've said that in my show before. I don't care for the blender because I don't think the blender is any different than the chef that came out with the recipe. Because once they blended, they came out with the recipe, they don't roll it. Everybody else does, yeah. Right? So to me, the blender is not a big influence to me because nobody can prove or 100% say that this blender I like will never blend a bad cigar.
Very true.
Right? So that's not my deciding factor. And my deciding factor is how much effort they put in together to release a cigar, right? Packaging, construction, effort, price, right? And lastly, blend, right? Whether or not you like the cigar. So a lot of time, I will believe a friend tell me some cigar is good more than say somebody made a cigar.
Okay. So like for me, let's just say somebody like Saka, you know, and before he had his own brand, he was bouncing around. But you pretty much known what you were getting with a Saka cigar. No matter where he went, you kind of had a general idea. It's like with AJ. No matter who AJ blends for, you know what you're getting. It's just gonna be a spicy version of that brand.
Uh, I when it comes to Saka, I wouldn't say you know what you're getting, right? I'm in my personal when you say okay, you can say any brand, and it doesn't matter what the blender is, you can expect a certain level of things from a brand, right? Because that's their target audience. So just because people bouncing around, it's not gonna sway too far away from what the brand is representing, what their target audience is. So when you say certain blender bounce around, and when somebody make a cigar, you can kind of expect what they have. I wouldn't so much say that's the case. I would say that they blend, and they blend for the customer that they engaging to, right? Because they might blend 10 cigar, only one cigar got released. Why? Because that one cigar fits their clientels. So when you say you can kind of expect what they come out with, no, you really can't. Like, when it's Saka, DTD cigar, DTD cigar is a bold, strong cigars that Steve Saka him personally will like, right? But at the end, is that what you expect from Saka? No, not really. If Steve Saka go blend for other brand will not release that cigar unless it fits their clientele. So I wouldn't say that's based on the blender, because the blenders don't just blend one cigar a year. They blend a lot of cigar, have that presented up to their boss, and their boss will smoke all of them and say, this one I think will sell for our customers, and they choose that. So it's really the brand, not the person that blended. And this hence why I don't really care about who blended, because in the end, Espinosa, it's got to be spicy cigar. Even if you get somebody that blends cigar that's never spicy, they will only choose to release one that's spicy.
Interesting. Okay. So going off of that, so at least for everybody has their different ways of doing things. Like you spoke to Alec,
Mhm.
and this was kind of a bone of contention when it came to, you know, when you have your first cigar, do you have with water, or do you have it with what you normally have?
All right, you're picking a bone. You're picking a bone.
The bone. I'm just saying. So and I think the one thing that I did learn was, especially from somebody whose sister and they go through, maybe 20 cigars a day, just testing blends
Mhm.
when they're in the factory. And it was like, yeah, we have water there, but we're not only drinking water, we're having soda, we're having coffee, we're having different things, and because in my mindset it was okay, so how do you get the like will that mess with the flavor of the cigar? And what it turned out to be was like not really. So, that's the one thing that I learned when it came to, um, you know, when it came to really testing out a cigar.
Let me put that into a perspective for you, because I've been thinking about that a lot of time, and I thought a way to explain to you that you will understand where we're coming from. You like colognes,
Yes.
like to me, if anybody know that I know knows colognes, probably you. Okay, when you're smelling 1,000 different colognes, you smell cologne and you go smell water.
No.
So what do? You smell coffee?
Um. Probably, yeah. So like in between maybe after the third one, I'll get some coffee beans, clean out my nose palette, and just
Okay. So it's not gonna mess up with your palate. Now then everything that you smell after is gonna smell like coffee.
Not really, because the coffee is supposed to clean out your nasal
And
cavity.
same idea. When you're drinking something else, it's supposed to clean up that palate so that the next one you gotta taste everything else that you didn't taste before. So if you drink water, whatever you smoke next, it's gonna taste like the previous cigar you just smoked.
And you know what? I would say this. So that happened. Like, so I smoked I always butcher the name of it, the Umaga by Saka. Every cigar I smoked after that tasted just like that fucking Umaga.
Okay. So let me tell you this, right? Let me ask you this, right? So if I am pairing my favorite cigar with my favorite drinks and I smoke the next cigar, guess what's gonna happen? Because it's a drink that I drink all the time, my taste bud should be able to isolate that taste came from this, and I can tell what the difference is, right? So wouldn't you taste a cigar correctly? I should drink it with what I drink most,
Very true.
right? When you go to France, every food tastes horrible unless you drink wine.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because water over there is horrible. So people who are cooking, they're cooking thinking that people is gonna drink something else. You could drink wine, drink whatever. They're not gonna drink water, right? And when people making cigar, do you really think that people are gonna smoke cigar in a lounge that only offers water?
No.
So they know that you're gonna drink something else, and the cigar should be able to fit in or pair well with majority that is offered there. So what is majority thing that's offered in the bar or lounge? Soda, water, juice, wine, or alcohol. So if their cigar is not versatile enough that you can only taste the best of it with water, then that blend has an issue. It's either too light or too boring. So I understand a lot of people use that as excuse, like you're like when somebody say I don't like a certain cigar, and then they will tell you that that's because you're not drinking water. I honestly think that's an excuse. Because now, if I don't like the cigar, and I will only like it if I drink water, then even if I like it if I drink water, I am not gonna like it because I don't want a cigar, which is enjoyment, to have a limitation of what I have to do to enjoy it. Like, would you smoke a cigar that says you only enjoy the cigar if you do 1,000 burpees before you smoke it? Well, go bench press 200 pounds before you smoke it, then you'll like it. You know what I'm saying?
No, of course not.
So that's the problem. That's the issue, right? I am not gonna go smoke a cigar that only tastes good with water. I'm gonna smoke whatever that fits me. So if I smoke a cigar and I'm drinking Pepsi and I didn't like it, knowing that I know how Pepsi tastes like, and this thing tastes horrible with it, I'm not gonna enjoy it because that's what I drink all the time.
Yeah. Very true.
And exactly why when you go to France, you're not gonna find any spicy food.
Mhm.
Spicy food does not taste well with wine. That's all.
Interesting. So. Mm.
So I think what's important about this episode for you would be what are you gonna give people on this channel?
So on this channel right here, I'm gonna be giving you guys cigar reviews. I'm also gonna be giving you guys, as you guys know, I'm in the Northeast. I am in the New Jersey and New York area. So I'm gonna try to give you guys pairings as far as whiskeys you can have with cigars, coffees you can have with cigars, also regular cigar reviews, cigars that you may have had before, and you know what? And my take might just give you a different outlook on that cigar. So, it's gonna be cigar reviews, coffee, bourbons, and conversation. I think conversation is gonna be the biggest thing when it comes to this channel, just because at the end of the day, the conversation is really what's really gonna make this enjoyable for you. Because not only are you gonna learn more about me, but you're gonna learn more about my guest. And I'm pretty sure after you guys watch this, you're gonna know more about Tony and the person that Tony is. And not just the person that I know that Tony is, but you will get the person that your own idea who he is. So so I think we're gonna wrap it up right here. This is the first episode of the Big Guilty Cigar Review. I hope you guys subscribe, like I always say, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get the word out there. I'm back, better than ever, with cigar reviews. Until next time, guys. Peace. Thank you, Tony, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.